If anyone else beeps in, Nancy can sign them up and let them roll. So let's see here. We wanted to take a look at the minutes from last meeting. Yes. And if everyone's read those, we would need a motion to accept the minutes.
I make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
Rich is second, okay. The meeting minutes have been accepted. And now we'll move on to Elaine with the treasurer's report.
All righty. So as Richard had said, we have preliminary numbers. Nancy's now on non-video anymore, but I'm not sure if they are expected to change that much in the final. I suspect probably not. But we ended up the year as we had expected in the appropriation account with an excess or underspent budget of $28,342. Wow. That represented payroll, within the van drivers, we thought, as well as the assistant director underspending of payroll of $16,500 approximately, and the other related to expenses. So when Nancy gives her report, perhaps she can update us as to whether or not she expects any significant changes from these numbers. I did not distribute the monthly summary just because it was in preliminary form, but I have one. I'll send it along when we finalize the numbers next meeting. So in the grants, we ended up spending everything but $287 of the formula grant. So that was a good thing. In June, we did spend, it was payroll. And that was the one that we also spent some money on, what was his name? Donald Green, $2,000 on Donald Green. So maybe, I think that was in that account, yeah. Nancy, maybe you want to just update us on that. Revolving
Donald Green.
Donald Green.
That's a software technician for codes software.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
And
Thank
also,
you.
yeah, so that went through formula grant, and also there's other money, the 287 or whatever, we've got some programs to finish that off, so that will be coming out. So we'll be balancing out at zero.
So
Okay,
what software
great.
package was that?
This is for go ahead, Nancy.
The code system, which is our transportation system, we could not, once we changed over to Windows 10, it was not able to be supported, so we had to fix it or update it. So that's what we did.
Okay, I got it.
And within the gift accounts, Nancy, I noticed there was another $1,350 expended in June relating to the software upgrade. Was that a separate item? That was in addition to the Donald Green payment. 1,000, it was Xanius Solutions Enterprises?
That's for the My Senior Center. We have to pay that every year. It's like in order to keep our software for My Senior Center.
So I was just wondering, could that $1,350 be paid out of our appropriation account? Maybe even the, program services or office supplies, and because we have such an excess amount of funding there that we didn't spend. Can we save it out of grant? Maybe we want to talk to Don about that when he closes.
To be honest with you, I don't know if I would ask him to do it at this point, because he's already told us that he's working, he doesn't want anything new from June. But that's something to consider for next year if we know that we're going to have any extra money like that. Certainly, even though we still have a balance in the programs, we're going to get it all back again anyway. So we could have done that earlier, I guess.
Yeah, it just got paid in June, so and we didn't, usually we don't end up with extra money, but this is an odd year. So,
okay. We can talk if you want to talk offline and you feel that I can certainly bring it up to Don and see if he'll do it.
That's fine. or whatever you're comfortable with. And the other thing in the gift account, I guess, you know, when Nancy developed the policy, when we consolidated the accounts and we set up these different, you know, outreach, we only have 4 accounts now. At that time, we had said any individual expenditures over 600 would be approved by the board, and everything else you just had, you know, you just would expend. So the only item of recent since that policy is actually that payment in June for the software upgrade.
Okay, my understanding of that new policy was just out of the gift account. And
That's right.
that saved us, we
Yeah,
pay this
just
all the
out of-
time. It has to be paid every year. It's just so that we can continue getting any support for my senior center. So that's always going to be the same amount.
Yes. Okay. I just thought where it was paid out of the gift account, it's been allocated against gifts. So
I hear
that's
what
why
you're saying. Okay.
you know,
Okay.
technically,
We can certainly do that.
Okay.
Okay.
The only other thing, and then within the revolving fund, minimal activity, we end up with a revolving fund of with a $4,648 profit, with $29,220 being carried over. In the gift account, we have close to $55,000 being carried over.
What is this
the next
gift
fiscal
account?
year. We have basically 4 gift accounts. We have outreach, we have just general gifts, and we have an old MAP gift gap balance, which is minimal, but we can't spend that yet because it's tied into, we have to kind of figure that out. It's tied into transportation. Remember the MAP, there's $1,100 in that account.
We just have to figure, we did get the approval from Social Elder Services to spend that down. That's our money. That's
Great.
a donation back in years and years ago. So we can do that once we figure out something. It has to be related to transportation though.
Okay.
Yes.
Tana has a question.
Yeah, I have a question. I'm looking at outreach gift. Where is this gift money coming from? And we're giving it to whom?
So Social Service League is providing money for, they gave us money for the lunch, the brown bag grab and go, which we were going to put towards that, but now it's under the pandemic money, the COVID money that the town is able to expend it that way. And also for the outreach gifts is through the social worker that Social Service League is providing for us as well, that right now we're not spending that money. But when we do, it will be there.
Right, but it's gifts that have come into us that we are spending on these other things.
That's correct.
Yeah, all right, thank you.
Yeah, we just can't spend it because of the COVID-19 issue. So they were planned to be spent.
Yeah.
And then if everyone remembers, we spent, Elaine has spent a little over a year. We wanted to, and we so many gifts.
Sorry, can't hear.
Yeah, I don't know if the Galaxy Tab, I don't know who that is down there. But anyway, we combined all of our accounts, all of our gift accounts into 4 categories. So that was what we did, or probably this past year or a year ago, to make sure that we could consolidate them and then be able to have a use of funds statement applied to each one of those categories so we would know what they were spent on.
Got it.
Just to bring to your attention, if you're looking closely at these reports that Richard sent out, this used to be a problem a year ago. It was resolved, but since March, it's been happening again. The available balance in the column in the report double counts the receipts. So you will notice in my monthly report, I always reconcile that. You have to back out receipts. So when you look at that available balance on the gift accounts, it says $71,955, when in fact it's really only $54,937, and that's just because it's a reporting, it's a printing problem. Richie can fix that going forward when we're all together and we can sit and talk about it again. So that's
What was the amount in the revolving account again? What was the profit?
revolving ended up with $29,220
Okay.
at the end of the year.
I know
In
what,
gifts.
at town meeting, we had, I don't know who went to town meeting, but it was fun. And they did approve our revolving account again. And so I forget what we're capped at, I think 100,000, 50 or 100,000 or something.
Yeah, I forget the number too, but
Yeah.
it's high. It's higher than we're at. I know.
Good morning, Diana. I see you're here.
Yeah, this is a brand new one. I'm trying this on a tablet, which I've never done before, but it's working pretty good, so I'm not going to
Yes,
complain.
it is. We can
All right,
see
so
you.
don't move.
I'm not going to.
Okay. So does anybody have any additional questions on the treasurer's report? Nancy, do you know when the year end will be reconciled? I suspect by September.
I think sooner than that.
Okay.
I know John's working on it now. He said it should be shortly, but I don't know. But he certainly said he's working on it. He said he was going to zero out formula grant, and we should be in good shape.
Okay. I know that we traditionally take August off as a board, and we meet in September. So usually September is the month that we see a fresh budget for 2021, where 2020 has already been closed out.
So that makes sense. He'll probably finish it, by in August or early August, and then we can talk about that in September meeting.
Okay. I know that the state has basically have been pushing these temporary budgets. So I'm sure the formula grant will be renewed again. It probably won't be until October is my guess. They're just doing a temporary budget right now for the state. Hopefully they pass a real budget. And once they do that, then all of the formula grant monies will be processed. So my guess is
Right. And sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to add. So I did speak with Chris Senior, and he did agree at least a portion of that formula grant, whatever amount, since we don't know what it's going to be yet, can be for Nettie, who's going to continue with the getting certification for us and the Age and Dementia Friendly initiative. So that part is good. We'll have extra money that we'll have to figure out where else that money is going to be applied to, but we won't even know until probably October what the amount is.
right. So we'll see what happens. And then of course in 2022 or 2023, after they digest the 2020 census, those rates will be readjusted and the formula will be readjusted probably by then. So, so this coming fiscal year, which is 2021 for the town, it's going to be probably the same as last year. And we'll see what happens. So once the state passes their budget, then all of the rest of the items from the budget will flow from there. And it's usually about a 3-month lag to 4-month lag from that process. So just so everyone keeps aware. Do we have any questions about anything else to do with the finances? All right. Do we have a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
Good.
So moved.
All right. A second?
Yep, seconded.
All right, there we go. All right, so we've accepted that. We're going to move on. As far as liaison reports go, we can hear from Taffy. You're on mute.
Okay, we're going great guns down at the new building at 60 Elm Street, and we're we're hoping to have a ribbon cutting in the middle of September. We haven't set a date yet, but I'm thrilled. The building itself is basically done, and now they're doing connecting the utilities, which is a huge project, digging up the road and the parking lot and all down there. And it's been very disruptive for the tenants and for the people in the home. But hopefully it'll be done within a couple of weeks. But we're thrilled with it. And The people, the residents at 60 Elm are holding up pretty well, I think. As far as we know, we don't have any cases, and they're pretty much staying by themselves, and they're getting a lot of help from the launch people through Social Service League, providing help with grocery shopping and trash takeout and meals. So that's great.
Terrific.
I think that's it.
Happy to hear things are going well over there.
Yeah, we did. Well, I was just saying, so Donna McGee and I were both elected. Thank you for those who voted for you. I said I don't promise another 5 years, but I want to be there when the building is dedicated for sure. And then we lost Pat McCarthy last week. I don't know if you're aware of that. He was a board member who didn't, well, he resigned in the fall, and he passed away last Tuesday. So.
A lot of changes over there.
Yeah.
And I understand that you were duly noted at the State House as a citizen of the world.
Yes. Patrick O'Connor.
Congratulations.
Yeah, for this, the Governor's Commission on the Status of Women, which I never knew anything about, but it's a pretty active group, actually. And they have this ceremony once a year, and he nominated me to be an unsung heroine for the community. So it was very nice. But I was just as glad it was virtual. I didn't have to go into the State House.
Okay.
Congratulations, Kathy.
Congratulations, yeah.
Thank you.
A lot of great work for the residents of this town.
That's
You know, between the Elm Streets, Special Olympics, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Diana, any updates on your end?
In a new playground behind the pool. So they have fenced it off and they have some gates going in, and we're going to put in some just basic lawn games, just things to keep the kids busy. If they're in between swims, or parents with younger children that want to go just throw a ball or something like that. And then we have some engineers working with the pool itself. Because it's 45 years old, we've got a little leak and nobody knows where it is. So we've got some engineers down there looking underneath to see what kind of pipe situation we're dealing with and what we're going to do. So it's, as much as we hated not opening, it's definitely been a plus to be able to take the time and put some of this stuff together. So hopefully we'll be all ready next year with new pumps and no leaks and a new little play area, which would be great.
Any chance you can direct the leak to water the lawn?
Yeah.
When he ever told me we lost 80,000 gallons of water over the winter, I almost died. I was like,
Oh boy. Great. Well, thank you so much. Let's see here. I'm going to give a couple of updates. One is on housing trust. So during the town meeting, there was a approval of the housing trust, which is the entity now for the town that houses monies and properties on behalf of housing. So one of the things that was passed was the transfer of a lot of land on the corner of 228 Hull Street and Jerusalem Road down at West Corner, the old antique store that burnt down. The town was in possession of the property due to past taxes owed. So we voted to transfer the ownership of that property out of the town's hands and into the real estate trust for affordable housing. So that occurred, and also CPC money was approved and transferred into the affordable housing trust. So now that process is being taken over by the housing trust, the next step will be to go out for bid to someone like a Habitat for Humanity to put up an affordable house on that property, and it would be deeded affordable housing. So that would be the next thing that would happen. It would probably, I guess, take another 12 months for that process to go through, especially under the restrictions that we have at the moment. The next thing that happened for affordable housing is that I've been working with the property owner up at Stop and Shop and the state senate and the sewer commission to see what's going to happen with that property as far as if he's going to be able to hook up to sewer or if he's going to have to put his own waste treatment facility on the property. That's the last decision process that has to be made before he can occupy and get things rolling. So the building is being built. He's committed to putting that housing in as affordable housing. The sticking point right now is whether he puts in a treatment facility like they have at Avalon, or if he pays to hook up the sewer. And those decisions aren't made lightly, so it's taking a while. And
Well, yeah, Paul has the option of going over to the school system over Cook Estate. Is that off the table now?
it is. It is. Yeah, so basically, the sewer commission stated that they would allow sewer to go from the plaza, and then it would go down 3A to what they call Veterans Pumping Station, which is before you get to Pond Street.
Mhm.
There's a pumping station over there. So that would be the proposed site, but there are issues surrounding the cost and logistics of that are causing that to be put on hold as far as a final decision. So they're weighing the opportunity of that versus the cost of a freestanding waste treatment facility that would be behind the Stop and Shop areas, I suspect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Would
so
that cover all three, the Feng Shui building and the
all
new
three
building
buildings?
and Stop and Shop?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stop and Shop it's under its own system. They have a kind of a super deluxe septic system over there. And Feng Shui has its own separate septic system, which is where they sell the Christmas trees. It's over in that area.
Okay.
So it was a third building that needed septic, and they said, well, you might as well combine them all into one big pile. And so that's where they're at. So, you know, when it comes to, you know, money, you have more opinions than people, and that's usually what happens is things get bogged down and how that gets processed. So town manager's involved in trying to work on it. Sewer commission, they've been in front of the sewer commission. There's another meeting tomorrow. I'm not sure if anything will be decided. And then from there, some decisions are going to have to be made rather quickly. I can tell you that if they go sewer and it's something that's reasonable, then the facility would move rather quickly and hope to get occupancy permit by the end of the year, so everything would count on the census.
Mhm.
If it doesn't go sewer, it will take probably about a year or two to get all the permits and everything in place and built. And so it would not count on the census towards the affordable housing until probably 2021, 2022.
And remind me how many units would go affordable?
Yeah, I think it's like 25 units, I think, something like that.
Out of a total of,
It's all 25. Count.
okay, okay,
Yeah.
good,
Yeah.
good.
So that's how that would work.
Well, who's going to pay for all this? It's a private enterprise that's putting it up, but
Right, the private enterprise pays for it. But the sewer commission sets the price. So that's what they're determining is what is the appropriate price. So that's how that works. So anything that goes in there, the property owner will pay for. And then it's a question of, you know, where do the numbers come from and how do you price that out when you are the
Right.
sewer commission versus, you know, somebody else, yeah, private entity. So that's
right.
how that works. So yeah, the town wouldn't be paying for anything. And just kind of an update to the old nursing home that closed at the beginning of town. That property was sold for a little over $4 million a couple of months ago. And, you know, we kind of had our eye on it. I talked to the property owners 6 months ago when it closed to see what was their thought process on the property. It looks like somebody came in and bid on it. And so it was sold. And according to Bob Egan, it looks like it's going to be a drug rehabilitation center.
Oh,
And, so they are remodeling it as it was left. So there aren't very many changes to the structure of the building whatsoever, from what I understand. It's just you know, same room, same floor plan type of thing. I believe that's what it's going to be. I'm not sure what type of rehabilitation center it is, overnight, on site, period of time, I'm not sure. So at some point, I'm sure we'll find out. But that's what's happening there. So I don't think I have any other updates on affordable housing. We're probably not going to meet until the September, October timeframe for us. The trust, we're waiting to hear from them so we can have a joint meeting. And obviously we had a new selectman on board. I talked with him about elder affairs, and I talked to him about affordable housing already. And so he's stated he was a proponent of both. So I look forward to working with him and anything we need to do in the future. He'll be there the next 3 years. And of course, Diane Kennedy has always been supportive of us. And so she is now on for the next 3 years as well. So next year, I think there's only one seat coming up, and that would be Paul Schubert's. And then the following year, 2 seats would be up, which would be Jack Creighton and Terry Thompson. And I don't think I have any other department updates that I've heard from other folks on that I can think of. Tana, if you had any updates with Social Service League at all?
no, we've been kind of quiet this month, but Eleanor, do you have anything?
I don't think so, except for the launch program.
Yeah, we've been supportive of them, helping with the cooking for the meals they're doing and things like that.
Terrific. All right, we're going to move on to the director's report. Nancy. And I don't see Nancy on the screen.
Here she is.
There she
Here I
is.
am.
Oh, there you are, way over there. Okay, yeah. Way over there.
Just let me know if it's too loud. I've got some background noise, so if you can hear it, just let me know. And I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll probably have to change position. So currently we're doing pretty good. We're getting into the groove of things here, without being open to the public. Although we will be starting to do that on a more regular basis. If people need to come in, Diane will see outreach clients on a one-to-one basis. We're going to have anybody coming in has to make an appointment. So that I think will, especially with open enrollment for Medicare, that's starting up in the fall, you know, fuel assistance, those kind of things, she's going to be needing to see people. So we'll make that work. We are going to also start our medical transportation back on a limited basis for just people on the van, not using the FISH program with volunteers, but our vans. So that will be helpful to the few people who have been contacting us. We are really pushing for the telehealth. We prefer people still do it that way, but if they need to get to the doctor, we're going to have some parameters in place. They do need to, we'll speak with them within 24 hours, asking them different questions about whether or not they have a fever, whether or not they've been in contact with somebody who has been diagnosed with COVID, whether, you know, there's a list of about 6 or 7 questions. And if they say no to all of those, then we'll be able to take them the next day. So I think that's a good thing. We'll still need to get to the doctor. So I'm happy that we're going to be able to move along with that. We'll also do something else we're having 2 singers, Will and Dave. They sang for us before, but they kind of do rock and roll stuff, and they live, one of them lives at 60 Elm Street. So they'll have another performance like we did before with Anna Cunny, because it went over so well. And that will be in August, and they'll be able to give some entertainment to the residents over there. We are seeing an increase in Meals on Wheels. So now we're averaging 20 meals, which is to be expected given what we're all going through. So that's good that we're able to meet that need. We're also still doing the grab and go meals, which is the Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We pick up brown bag breakfast and or lunches, and then we deliver them to people. So people have been so happy with that. And still continuing on Fridays, we have at the St. Stephen's Church is delivering for us, and they're making soups, and then another day Launch is doing it another Friday. So pretty much we have a lot of meals going out to people 4 days a week, in addition to the food pantry. And so we're providing that for people that need it, and we're always expanding that as well and opening it to more people. We're also seeing an increase in our Zoom classes. So of course, like it was here at Wilcott, we have the gentle yoga, which is really the most well received. And we're averaging about 10 people on Tuesday mornings that take the class. We still have gentle chair yoga that we switched to Wednesday mornings from Wednesday afternoons, and Thursday mornings a gentle yoga fusion, kind of more of a meditation, and that we're hoping to add participants to. So we started the men's with a cafe, regular cafe on Monday mornings, which has been slow, and we're hoping that that's going to pick up momentum. The more people who talk it, and the men who are under our Zoom, which has always been successful since the beginning. So I think we're going along nicely. We're getting used to the way things work, and it doesn't look like it's going to slow down anytime soon as far as getting people in the doors. But for the next month or so, maybe we can do more things outside, which is what I'm hoping to do. And
So
that's
Nancy,
about it. That's what's going on. If you have any questions.
Who's in the building every day now? It's just Richie and those preparing
So
the
we
meet?
have, yeah, right. Richard's in the building, his regular work hours for the week. And then we have the Meals on Wheels drivers who come in and pick it up. We have Liza coming in on Tuesdays and Thursdays also, so that Richie can because Richie does all the Zoom. So now he's got a lot of, his attention is taken into the Zoom classes, because he's always the host to make sure everybody gets in the meeting, so that the actual facilitator, like Amy or someone who's actually teaching the class, doesn't have to worry about admitting people in. So that seems to be working out pretty good. So, and then everybody else, depending on need. So I'll go in there, or Diane will go in there when we have something to do, or sign something, or do something at our office that we can't do remotely. But for the most part, and then we have the Launch coming in. They bake cookies on Wednesdays, and then they are still prepping Meals on Wheels, I believe on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So still action coming in and out, but everybody's wearing a mask and everybody's staying away from one another.
Terrific. And then, you know, perhaps in September, it would be nice to hear from Nettie as to, you know, how she is on the process for the three categories of items that we talked about moving forward on, you know, the age-friendly, dementia-friendly, and certification. I know that she eventually wanted help from the board on certain areas, so we probably would want to reboot or refresh it come September to see where she is on it and what type of help. So we'll
Yes.
see what
I
happens.
think that's great.
She's doing an
I'll have her
excellent,
come in.
yeah,
Yep.
she's doing an excellent job on facilitating the cafe, Zoom cafe.
That's terrific. Yeah, we
Thank you. Yeah, I'll let her know. Mm-hmm.
so the
Sorry, Paul.
goal would be to you know, put a plan together for either some outside activities or even inside activities to where we're spaced out enough that meets the, you know, the COVID specific guidelines, and people feel comfortable and safe in an activity they want to do. And I think, you know, when Nancy and I last talked, all of those really have to be submitted to the Board of Health, I guess, or the, I don't want to say health inspector.
Right,
Just
the town, the emergency management group.
Okay, yeah, so is that who's approving it? Is the emergency management group, or is it the
Well,
town health inspector, which we don't.
right, and they pretty much give me their advice about what they think, but at the bottom line, it goes through the public health department. Like even for this medical transportation, Mary Goodwin has been very good. I spoke with Mary and Pam about it, and after speaking with them, I let the group know this is what we had planned, and it was already approved by Mary and Pam. So they just need to be aware of it. They have really been hesitant about having anything, especially for all the vulnerable population that we serve. So it's the outside stuff they're getting more and more okay with. It's going to be tough to agree with stuff, even if it's under certain amounts of people. So we're going to have to do that though come the cold weather. So
Yeah.
We'll
I don't know.
little bit by little bit, which we.
Yeah, I don't know. With farmers market is starting to open up. If you may want to, have an opportunity to maybe transport people up there, or maybe have an outdoor event on the commons around the same time as the farmers market. Maybe that might, help people kind of break out of this shell that we're in. And they're going to start small with, just I think 5 or 6 vendors, and then each week see how it goes. Expand.
Well, we started 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
We started farmers market 2 weeks ago, and it went well, except we just have food vendors. So
Okay.
The other ones, and we don't have any seating.
Oh, okay.
Or music
Okay.
right now. But you can get a hot dog.
Yeah. Not saying the town manager's first in line, but
Exactly.
I heard they were good hot dogs.
Yeah.
Well, good. Maybe you can keep us updated on how that goes with Nancy, and maybe that's something we can move towards once it starts to pick up a little steam. I know they're remodeling the curb stoning and parking around the common. Hopefully that'll be done by the first week of August. And
So we are on the other side of the church right now.
Right. Yeah. So once that's completed, we'll be back to what we think is normal.
Eleanor, didn't it get a little bigger this week?
Did I what?
It got a little larger, didn't it, this past Thursday?
It did. Yes. Yeah.
So any other questions for Nancy? I do have one thing that I wanted to bring up to everyone, and that is I received a very nice thank you card from Liza and her daughter when her husband had passed away. What I ended up sending on behalf of the board of directors is a very large plant rather than just a bouquet of flowers. And she was, I forgot to bring the card in. I was going to read it for you, but she was very thankful. She appreciates the thoughts and prayers that the whole board brings to her and her daughter at this time. So she was very thankful for that. Very nice card. And so with that, I don't know that we have any other business. I was going to move on as we discussed last month. The town requires us to vote for a chairman once a year. And I know Richard is here, or Richie is here to, Richard is here to help us go through the nomination period part of it. And so Rich, are you on the phone?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, loud and clear, my friend. We're going to appoint a chairman for this year. And
That's right.
so can I nominate somebody at this point?
You already have.
Okay, yes, I'm going to nominate Tanner Carlson as chairman.
Okay, well, you're a little premature. Let me go through it first.
All right, go ahead.
Basically, what I'm going to do is announce 3 times requesting nominations for chairman.
Okay.
And then If you are nominated, then I'll ask you, do you agree with the nomination and will you serve if you're elected? Again, we'll go 3 times and see where we are. And if you nominate someone, you don't need a second.
Okay.
So it's just a straight nomination. So for nominations, I have that you have already nominated Tana.
Yes, sir.
For chairman. Tana, may I ask what your plans are? Do you agree? Do you accept the nomination?
I do. Thank you.
Okay. Any other nominations for chairman? Any other nominations for chairman? Okay, nominations are closed. Now, since there is no, since there's only one nomination, I'll ask the secretary to cast 1 vote in favor of Tana for chairman and to record it thusly.
I vote for Tana as chairman.
Yes. Now, just from a protocol point of view, to replace vice chair, is that an appointment from the chairman or is that an election?
It is it's not an election. It would be an appointment from the chair.
Okay. Then I think nominations and elections are complete.
Okay. So Tana, congratulations. You are now the official chairperson for Cohasset Elder Affairs.
Thank you very much. And I just want to say that I've have big shoes to fill. And I also want to thank Paul for stepping in with Council of Elder Affairs at a time which was very, very volatile. And he was able to pull it through for all these years, for better or for worse. And we did it. He did it. And we just owe him a world of gratitude. Paul will be staying on the board, thank heavens. And we look forward to a lot more in the future, a lot more good things. So thank you very much, everybody. Are we going to do our vice president now? Our vice chair now, Rich?
Say again?
Are we going to appoint our vice chair now?
Well, if you make the appointment, and you have till next meeting to make the appointment.
But could I make it now?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Okay, I'd like to appoint Diana Karcher as vice chair of Council of Elder Affairs. And do you accept, Diana?
Yes.
Thank you very much. I look forward to working with you, all of you.
Good.
So, Tana,
Yes, sir.
could I ask, because I'm relatively new to the board, and I don't have the history that you do, could we ask Paul to sort of summarize when he came in and
Sure.
what his what his time frame was and what the issues were that he addressed as he came in?
Certainly. Paul, would you like to do that for us?
Well, sure. Yeah, I was having a couple of internet connection problems here. Yeah, so I've been, I don't know, probably 9 or 10 years, I think, at this point. And I came on board, John Campbell was chairman, and he had stepped down. So they had asked me to become chairman. And so I did so. And I was only on the board for about a month or two. And so I wasn't sure what was going on. I had no idea that they were looking to build a new senior center or anything like that. I thought, you know, they said it was only 1 hour a month. So that's what I did.
They lied to you.
Yeah, so
They lied.
yeah, so my mother and Anna Abruzzi said, you know, it's your generation it's time to step up. You know, we can't do this forever. So so that's what I did, and I loved it. I still have a passion for it. I'm obviously still on the board. I love doing this. I really do. And then, you know, when I did get involved with the senior center building, it was a lot of behind the scenes work to really get a lot of people to play nice in the sandbox. And it worked out well. It took a while, but it worked out extremely well. So I've had a great run at it. I think, you know, having Tana step in is fine. We are going to do a great job under Tana. She's been alongside of me the whole time, and she's been with Social Service League, which were the ones who really pushed to have that center built. You know, if it wasn't for Social Service League, it wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And you know, like I said, I continue around town doing what I do on the affordable housing and on the Board of Elder Affairs. I'm always pushing quite a bit. So I won't have to do the agenda once a month, so that'll be up to Tana now.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Paul.
Paul, can I say something? For us newer members, I really appreciate that little summary because there's a lot, of course, that I and maybe some others don't know about all this. But I just wanted to say how much I appreciate the tone that you set for this whole operation. It's very inclusive and it's very thoughtful. And in this day and age, these are things that are sadly lacking and greatly appreciated when we come across them. So I want you to know how much I appreciate what you've done.
Thank you.
You're here.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, there's a lot of moving
And
parts
I
around.
would also,
Yeah. So.
I want to add 2 cents too, as far as how much I appreciate you, Paul, and thank you so much for the whole board, but especially me in the past year, since it's been so new to me, even though I've been with the center for 5 years prior. But you have just been a lifeline for me and very patient, and I know you care about the seniors as well as the department itself, the Elder Affairs. So I think you've done a terrific job, and I'm so happy you're staying on the board. And I know that Tana has big shoes to fill, but I think she did a great job, and I'm looking forward to working with her.
Thank you very much, Nancy.
So can I ask another question, Tana?
Sure.
What do you see the big issues that we will be facing in the next 2, 3, 4 years?
Well, I could give you a direct answer or not. The direct answer is that the putting in place of Nettie and her programs, I think, is a good place for the board to get involved. However, right now we have to get in lockstep with as much of the community as we can with the COVID problem going through town. And this may or may not be over in a month or two, and we just have to see how it goes. That's all I can say. I was looking forward to the other things, but you know, reality, you know, life happens and reality strikes. So that's as good as I can give you. I do want to get people back into the center as soon as we can, but we can't rush it. I mean, particularly the vulnerability of the population and the staff. I mean, it just isn't right. So we have to go very cautiously, and then we can do our expansion and our certifications and all that kind of stuff.
So I was talking to somebody over the weekend, you know, who has no better look on the future than any of us, but is involved in, let's say, is knowledgeable in the biomedical / you know, vaccine world. And that person is very optimistic, for what it's worth, about a vaccine coming that will be effective. But it's gonna, in my mind, it's gonna be a long haul to get everybody, well, you know, first responders and we as a cohort inoculated.
Yeah.
It's not going to be this fall. It's going to take a while.
I unfortunately, I've come to recognize that too. I too have spoken with people in the field, and although it's amazing the work they're trying to do with this and are doing with this, these things just don't happen with the snap of your fingers. They just don't. And so we just have to go with it. We have no choice. So. But that's optimistic. You're hearing from, you're hearing great things, and I like to hear those things.
Yeah. Paul, do you have any, in your business, do you touch on that?
Well, we do to a certain extent. So I own a medical device company, and most of what we manufacture is surgical related product and also interventional cardiology product. We also manufacture sensitive component items for blood analyzers. So when this whole thing hit Siemens Healthcare, which is on the front line of blood testing for COVID-19, we make a lot of the sensors that go inside the blood machine. So we've been busy doing that. The surgical side has been slow because they wouldn't let people in the hospital. So I'm kind of, stuck in the middle. But I get industry news all day, every day. I can tell you that, there's really two types of things that are out there. One is prevention, one is treatment. So, the vaccine would be the prevention side of it. That's going to take a while. The treatment is coming up with something now, if you have it, or testing to determine if you have it, if you're carrying it, all that other stuff. So there's literally dozens of companies in each aspect of that process. And so it's really a race of, who gets there first, to the extent of which one works the best. So there are a couple of companies in Boston they're pretty damn close. But, it's going to take time. I think my hope is that we get somewhat of an all clear by, September, October, to the extent that it appears to be, managed or contained. Containment's been all we've been doing right now. We haven't been managing COVID-19 at all. We've just been doing containment, wearing the mask, social distancing, and all that stuff. So the more containment there is, the lower the numbers go, then the more we can move freely about the cabin. But I think we probably will be wearing a mask for quite some time in public. I don't see that going away by the end of the year, based on all of the governors in the country, so there's obviously the sunshine states, like, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Florida, Alabama, those are traditional, 90 degrees every day kind of states where they're widespread as far as population goes as well. They're not on top of each other like they are in the Northeast. So they're going to have a different outcome, and they're going to have different guidelines for their masked or not masked, that kind of thing. So it's, all this spiking they're reporting, I can tell you a lot of it is not COVID related, because we have a lot of folks that we deal with in ORs, and so we know what some of the numbers are. So there is a difference in some of the numbers, but either way, whether they have COVID or not, there has been increases of people coming in with issues. So I'm really hoping all the executives from the medical device companies I deal with are all telling us they're going to get back to 80 to 90% of normal business activities by Labor Day, and they're hoping by the end of the year to go back to regular business as usual. So, like I said, I think business as usual will be, washing your hands, everyone buying Purell, and wearing a mask. I think will be now till the end of the year at minimum. But
also remote, working remotely.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing from my kids and their spouses is they're being told that, some of them, they're not coming back to the office.
Yeah, so in Massachusetts, you're allowed to go to 50% office occupancy.
Yeah.
And so quite a few companies are doing that. A lot is going to determine, I think, if schools go back to school or not, public schools, K through 12. Because if no one goes back to school, K through 12, all of those working parents more than likely will tell their boss, I'd like to continue working at home until the end of the year.
Mhm.
If all of the schools go back to school, then the kids will be back to school. Then there may be an uptick in people going back to the office. But I can tell you that there's a lot of businesses that are going back. People that do more administrative work will probably stay remote. And then there'll be a reduction over time in office space, is my guess.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there is in our business. We have, like I get a good example. We have one of our large customers is in Warwick, Rhode Island. They have 300 people in the building. They're a medical device company back in Dickinson.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, so what they do is they rotate the people. So someone will work in the office for 2 weeks straight and then stay home for 2 weeks straight, that kind of thing. So there's there are certain things that you physically have to do too. So, but you're
But
right.
they're keeping the same real estate footprint,
Yeah,
but at a lower density.
correct. Yeah, they're keeping the density down, right?
Yeah.
So that's where
I
it's,
have three granddaughters, and they're all doing exactly that.
Yeah.
One of them's working 1 week on, 1 week off, and the other one's going 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. So 2 weeks at home, 2 weeks in the office. And they've started that already quite a bit.
yeah,
Does
companies
anybody
like,
have a sense of what's happening with our school department in terms of how they are going to implement September?
Well, we have brand new neighbors across the way for the first time in 3 years. I have people up my little lane. And they went to sign their children up for school and told that there would definitely be classes.
Yeah.
yeah, the state's releasing their guidelines. They're waiting, CDC on the national level release their guidelines across the country, and then each state gets to decide how they want to implement it. And they're supposed to come out with a decision by the end of July so that everyone is on the same page. So,
Yeah, I saw a survey of 5 doctors on one of the Sunday morning talk, Meet the Press or whatever, I think it was, where they seemed responsible and but they had children, each had children of school age, and they unreservedly said that they would send their children back to school.
The superintendent is sending weekly emails, which is really appreciated. And they're reserving the timeline until August 14th to offer their last final guidelines and structure of how the class will work. But really, word on the street is that it's going to be hybrid, meaning 3 days a week school and alternating students 3 days and 2 days to keep class sizes small. The other thing they asked is if it sounds like the bus system might be radically changed or eliminated in some way, which I was surprised at. I hadn't heard that in the news media, but I guess it makes a lot of sense. They asked if parents would be willing to drive both directions every day. And then I have no idea how they're going to manage the cafeteria. That's a whole last question. Because of course they're legally obligated to provide meals or meal time. So yeah, it's still up in the air.
Yeah.
That it's going to give us a lot to work with and around for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I've got one note of interest. I don't know if everybody's aware, but the American Legion has been open now for about 2 weeks. They open Monday through Friday, starting at 3 o'clock, and on the weekends they start at noon. So just letting you know that I was surprised that they passed Board of Health or whatever it is and were able to do it. I personally don't recommend anybody going in there. I survived Vietnam, and I'm not going to get wiped out by a pretty hot day.
Yeah, I think I'm particularly happy with the way Governor Baker has handled our state. I think he's done a good job. He's communicated well. And I hope we continue to, stay the course. I sort of did a mid-course correction in the sense that I was on the Cape this weekend in Cotuit and Osterville with family and a couple family birthdays. And one of my son and his wife took umbrage at the closeness that we had. And I see their point. So I've sort of done a mid-course correction in, not that I'm not careful, but I think I'm going to change the way I do things. A little bit more strict.
Okay. Well, is there any more business? Paul, would you like to finish this meeting and I take over next time?
It's up to you, Tana. You're technically the chairwoman now. So, but we can adjourn the meeting if anybody has anything else left. The next meeting is scheduled for September 14th. We usually take August off.
Okay.
So what I'll do is I'll be sending Tana the template for the meetings. I'll send her the bylaws. So she'll have those 2 items. Jim, do you have anything?
No.
Or Jim just waving. Jim Murphy, I'm sorry. Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I
Here we
make a
go.
motion to adjourn.
And
Great.
let me just remind, if you're going to be doing the agendas, if you could get it to us early enough so that we can post it with the clerk's office, that's really important.
Great.
And I will be calling you about the ins and outs of all of that, sure. Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you.
Motion
to
adjourned.
adjourn.
Rich, you want to call for adjournment?
Yeah, make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in
Okay, we're
favor?
adjourned. See you in September.
Aye.
All right.
Absolutely. Thank you all.